Hello, welcome to Top 5 Nintendo. Today we got another special Smash Bros. Episode. We're going to be rating the top 5 Smash Bros. Games. That's to clarify, there's only 5 games because we're combining 3DS and Wii U. So I think this will be a little bit more of a conversation. I think we might be pretty much on the same page with ratings, but I don't know, there might be a surprise or two. But I'm excited to discuss Smash Bros. A great franchise, quite a bit of history, lots to talk about here.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm with my good pal Sam here today.
Thank you, Jake.
Hi, Sam.
How's it going? I'm here. Yeah, it's going to be a bit like, I think the Pikmin episode, we were like, well, there's like 5 Pikmin.
It's hard to
arrange
disagree.
them in the right way.
Yeah.
It's, it'll be easier to agree. It's not like picking our favorite Pokemon in Gen 4.
True. It is not that.
Where more fists can be raised.
Much less options here.
And we have talked, I feel like every episode we somehow bring it back to Smash.
Yeah.
You know, because you could talk about any game and it kind of, you know, it all connects to maybe like a stage or a special move or the animations, even the taunts in Smash. Yeah. Smash kind of is like the glue that, you know, solidifies everything.
You were totally correct, Sam. All right. Well, I don't know. Do you want to get into it or want to tell me a little bit about your Smash history?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what episode it was. I feel like I've made everyone listen to my Smash history, but basically...
Yeah, that's true. We probably have discussed it in our other Smash episodes.
I'll qualify myself real quick.
Okay.
I did get the GameCube specifically so that I could play Melee because I'm crazy because I played it at my friend's house and they're like, oh yeah, it's only on GameCube, so you need to get that. So I got it for Christmas.
Awesome.
And I remember I would I played like Smash 64.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go to like a barber shop or like a hotel, and they would have a Nintendo 64, and that was kind of my experience. I was a bit young, and honestly, I never played a game. I don't think anyone had played a game at that point where the damage system is a percentage that goes up and up. It's easy to take that for granted now because we're so used to it. But like back then, you know, you play Street Fighter, you play Tekken, games like that, and your health goes down, and there's a health bar, and it's very easy to like calculate like, oh, I need to do 2 more hits, and they are for certain going to die. There's like it's very easy to comprehend that, and then when you're younger, it's like, okay, so I'm used to numbers going down. Their numbers are going up. And when will I kill them? Like, it seems like, you know, they're staying on the stage no matter what I do. But I think it's worked out for Smash because it's forever going to set them apart. I mean, it's such a vertical game, even though it's side scroller. Mm-hmm. I think the formula is great for it. So yeah,
totally agree. And that's something I never even considered until I looked into this episode, like making notes for this episode. That it is, I'm pretty sure it is the first game the fighting game that doesn't have a health bar. That's a percentage.
Yeah, like first big game at least.
Yeah, awesome way to differentiate. Obviously, something they had to do coming into like the years of like Street Fighter and Tekken and things like that. So yeah, definitely set themselves apart. Myself also started on the GameCube, played the 64 a couple times at my cousin's house. I would say I would identify most with the GameCube. Mm-hmm. I have Ultimate now on the Switch. Awesome game, but we'll discuss that, obviously. I don't know. There's not much to say that we won't be seeing later in the episode, so let's just get into it.
Let's get right into it.
Sam, what is... Wait, just kidding. I go first. Sam, what is my number 5?
Your number 5 is Smash 64.
Yeah. Yes.
Duh. Sorry, awesome. Smash 64.
The first of its kind. It's got to be on the bottom. Realistically, it's not the cleanest game. It didn't have a whole lot of characters. It didn't have a whole lot of maps. It only goes up from here. Not to say this is a bad game, but it kind of has to be on the bottom of the list. When it came out, not that I was like an active gamer. I was a baby, but or was I even alive? I don't know.
It was like 99.
Okay, so I might not have been alive. But I mean, it was like we just said, the first of its kind in the sort of percentage instead of health bar, as well as the first of its kind in like such an insane crossover of different like IPs, and definitely like nailed it with that, especially coming to like this 3D era where like Mario just had his first 3D iterations, Link just had his first 3D. Really awesome to put all that together, and they, I mean, we were just talking earlier today. I love Super Mario 64. I even went so far as to say it might be my favorite game. I mean, I just really love these like Nintendo 64, like very like triangle-y graphics. I don't know. I just love it.
They're blocky. It's fun, especially if you're like old enough to maybe just relate to it for a little bit of nostalgia.
Which I'm not even. It was a little before my time. Okay. But I do love it. I mean, I guess those were my first kind of video games, but...
Well, what is fun about the 64 era graphics is that the colors were, it's not like they had a huge dynamic scope of colors to pick from. It was like watching, Wizard of Oz. Like the greens are extremely green. Mario is very red, very blue. And it's kind of fun that way.
Yeah, that is true. You know what? Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say. There's not a lot going on in this game. It definitely set a very solid foundation for where to go from there. And again, not to like discredit this game at all, because it was so insane for its time.
Sure. Well, I might as well just go into my 5 because I'm going to just continue this conversation.
Okay.
I also picked the 64. I mean, it started it all. It had to invent all of this, right? Like when you factor that in, like it was an experiment of a game. So we had Street Fighter in the early 90s, like paved the way for combat type of games where it's, one player versus another player. And Smash was at the end of the decade, and it added to it a lot. Like how I was saying, there's platforms, like it's vertical. You can be above the other person and then come down on them or jump on the other end. Like there weren't games that were doing it like that. And also, like it's Link versus Mario. Like no one was comprehending that. And Nintendo probably had to be like the only developer that could pull that kind of thing off.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
even that had the amount of like notable characters.
Yes, that were all so different from each other. Like Sony tried doing a thing like this,
right? And
it's kind of like we like the story of these games and the characters are cool in that story, but people like Mario for Mario, you know, stuff like that. So it was, you got to be thankful for it. But now to say the negative things about it, I mean, the combat it was pretty reduced for what we have at this point. The stages weren't like super ambitious. I mean, at the time they were just because platforms and all that. Right. But they were they're smaller and they're more. Yeah. It was like Easter eggs. It was like references to games.
Exactly. I mean, so I think the main thing holding them back was how small they were, because I feel like at the time they would have been so insane to play, like you said, to be doing like Mario versus Link like on I honestly don't even know what maps they had, but like Hyrule Field. It wasn't Hyrule Field, but whatever. Right. They would have been using.
Yeah, I'm like in the 64, you would have just like the one. It was like the battlefield type stages where it's like platform, right. And then like flatness, and then in Melee, well, now you have the Hyrule Temple. And it's insanely big. Like it feels like an epic battle. Yeah. That you're playing. And
that's fair.
And that's more than just like, oh, little Easter egg. Remember, the heart in this game, it's over there.
Right. When you put it that way, that is a huge step up between two generations, one after the other.
But it was still cool what they were doing, and like having like Luigi be an unlockable character. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't even think they have more Mario characters than Jigglypuff. It's like there's more Pokemon. Was
Jigglypuff in that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe Jigglypuff was an unlockable
And
character.
was Ness an unlockable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was, I mean, kind of funny because like Ness, I mean, we didn't have a lot of Earthbound players, you know, in the States.
Yeah.
Like that. So very much like, I mean, especially when this is going to be, you know, for a different game, but when we had Lucas, who no one knew who Lucas was. Yeah. No one knew who Marth was. We didn't have Marth when we so that was fun. Okay, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. 64, thank you, but you're in last place. Okay,
right, fourth. All right. I think this is where we might differ a little bit, but I put the Wii U 3DS at number 4. I have the least experience with this one. I know it allowed you to like customize your different moves, which was a cool change, but also like not something I think is necessary in Smash Bros. I mean, obviously they got rid of it for Ultimate, but a cool feature to have, especially like coming off of the competitive scene of Melee. This feature is kind of the opposite of that, where like you play how you want to play. It's like more accessible, right? Also at 1080p with the Wii U, which is the best it's ever looked, obviously. Kind of expected, you know, as we move up, but very cool for its time. The first time you could play with 8 players on one console. Right. Also really insane. I mean, that's kind of a game changer because this is like clearly nowadays the like a party game. So it's pretty awesome to be able to have 8 players, especially on like the Wii U is not a powerful console. Just the fact that they were able to. Now I know they had to like separate the dual characters for this reason, because otherwise like Ice Climbers wasn't in this game, because if you had 8 people playing 2 characters each, 16 Ice Climbers on the screen just wasn't going to work out. Right. But still very cool that they were able to make it work despite some holdbacks with that situation. Right. I would agree. We do differ a little bit on this. This game, for a couple reasons, holds a special place in my heart. Yeah. For better or for worse. We got to talk about how that was the first mobile Smash Bros. That was the next thing I was going to say. That was kind of unbelievable at the time. Yeah. Like, I feel like every kid always wanted to play this kind of game mobily. Right. But it's such a big game. It's an epic game. Like we're talking about like New Pork City and like Temple. There's really big stages and having 4 characters running around. Like it's hard to fit that on a small screen. And we didn't get it right away because I believe the Wii U one came out a couple months earlier. Yep. So it was kind of like a surprise. Like, oh, I didn't see this coming. Yeah, definitely. And that was cool. I know that they were at a little bit of a disadvantage just because of the sales for just the console, the Wii U. Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why it made sense that they would put it on the 3DS. And did the 3DS also have like a story mode that the Wii U did not have? It might have, but honestly, like I played much of the Wii U that when I got the one for the 3DS, I was like, no, I'm only doing multiplayer for this. Like I don't have interest in doing the other parts of this. That's valid. I just for fun, I took a screenshot of the sales, which I thought was. Is this the least or the second? I have the sales for all of the games. Next to the Metacritic score for it. So Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U, even though it's basically the 4th game. I mean the Wii U, the 3DS. Yeah. So we'll look at just the Wii U. The Wii U sales 5.38 million. Okay. The original Smash Bros. Was 5.55 million. Whew. Okay. So the Wii U, I mean, we have like this huge franchise and it's underselling to the 64 one. But then the 3DS, its sales were 9.63 million. There you go. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. So almost doubled just by having it mobile. Yeah. I mean, it didn't look as good, but it's that was a big factor in it, and I have to give it credit for that. I mean, still we had like a whole bunch of characters, most characters we ever had, obviously. The stages were pretty cool. I think. Well, I'll save more of my thoughts for when I finally get to it. Yeah. Last thing I wanted to say maybe was that it also had the Mii fight. It introduced the Mii fighters, which is cool. I don't like them honestly, but I do know people who main them or like semi main them. So cool thing to have.
They're bad. I mean,
you think they're bad? I know people who are pretty good with them, but
oh yeah. I mean,
I suck with them.
Well, that's like the good thing about Smash Bros. Is that you can be good with a difficult to use character. Ideally, none of them are supposed to be bad.
Yeah,
they're all supposed to be different. I do like how you could like be a character in Smash Bros. So that part's cool. Yeah, I don't use them often just because they're tricky.
Yeah,
I don't know, whatever. So that's your fourth.
That is.
Well, I got a fourth for you.
Do you?
And I'm anticipating this is going to be our only mix-up. I don't want to spoil anything, but I think we probably have these switched. I have Brawl at 4. Now I know that our age group. I'm 25, right? So I'm like that one age where we just had Melee, and then people who are younger, Brawl was like the first game. And if Brawl's your first game, it was a big deal. Like everyone had the Wii, everyone was playing Brawl. Yeah. And if you weren't used to like the fast speed of Melee and the crispness of Melee, Brawl was just fine, right? So I get that, and I was like checking the website every day up into the release of Brawl. Like I remember when every character got announced. I remember how crazy it was when Snake got announced, when Sonic got announced. That was like a big step in. Like I can't even imagine Smash Bros. Right now that doesn't have like third-party characters in it. Right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, exactly. And it's funny that website's actually still up. I found it while taking notes. Really? Yeah, it's just like SmashBros.com, and they haven't updated it for Ultimate, right? So it's still all like Brawl stuff.
That is hilarious. Yeah, I remember I was at my shore house for the summer, checking on the updates, and we had really bad Wi-Fi. Yeah. And I was like freaking out to my parents. I was like, we need to have internet so I can know what's happening with Brawl. Yeah. And it came out, and I got the day of, and of course I liked it, and the character's awesome. Sonic was really fun to play as. Snake was like super technical and super strong. The Wii controller, it was kind of difficult to use. I feel like no one really was excited to have to like relearn how to play. Everyone just preferred to go to the GameCube controller or the Pro controller. Right. Yeah. The infamous tripping mechanic. Yeah. It was a little bit laggier. And for a game that was supposed to be, the next console's generation with the improved graphics. I mean, it didn't look like the Xbox 360. It looked like the Wii. So, I mean, we had internet connection, so you could, play other people online. That was kind of a big deal. But even then, it was kind of, the Wii was never too good with, strong, multiplayer online. So that's why I'm kind of torn on the Brawl. Yeah, I've got to agree with you there. Okay, well, so this is my number 3. So I'll just so we could have more of a conversation about this. But the Wii was like Nintendo's all about accessibility. Like the Wii's pretty much like as accessible as it gets. I mean, maybe the Switch a little bit more, but I don't know. But I mean, anyone could pick up a Wii remote, right, and just sort of instinctively know how to play like half the games, which was a cool thing. So they really tried bringing that to this Smash Bros, and it's like really obvious, like you said, with things like tripping and slower gameplay, where like you could kind of get lucky even if you don't play that much, or even if you've never played and still win or something like that. Sure. Which obviously did not play into like the competitive scene. Yeah. And I'll just say right now, neither of us are extremely competitive with Smash Bros. So we're not going to be just like, we're not discussing the competitive scene that much in this episode. But yeah, this game was not for them. They stuck with the GameCube. Even today, a lot of the competitive scene is still on the GameCube. But I don't know. There is a lot of cool things about this game as well. Like you said, so many new characters. Just a few I listed, like Lucario, Sonic, Pokemon Trainer.
3 insane. I just realized 2 of them are Pokemon.
Well, when Pokemon Trainer got announced, that was like unbelievable because I know like I was a huge Pokemon. Well, I'm still a huge Pokemon fan. I was at that age definitely a huge Pokemon fan, and the idea that you can use multiple Pokemon, that's exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, crazy.
And they did it perfectly.
Right.
I mean, so that was cool. And Lucario like just had its movie. So there was like a lot of buzz, a lot of people were thinking this is the coolest,
the hottest Pokemon at the moment.
You know, it was a steel type. It could use fighting moves. It had like, you know, like ninja fantasy powers with it. It was such a mysterious Pokemon. It was very cool to include. I have some fun statistics that I would like to throw
hit me
in.
with it.
So it's pretty common knowledge that, like, in terms of critical reception at this point, now that the dust has very much settled for it, not the go-to for a competitive a competitive Smash game, right?
Right.
This is tied for the highest score by Metacritic, actually.
Really?
Metacritic apparently gave Brawl a 93 out of 100. That's a pretty decent score.
And what did Melee get?
Melee got a 92 out of 100.
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make too much sense to me. Ultimate. Now, I won't spoil anything. I consider Ultimate a fine game. 93 out of 100. So in Metacritic's eyes, Brawl is tied with Ultimate.
Yeah, that's insane.
At 93 out of 100. Now, let's look at the sales for it, right?
Well, what I'm thinking is this rating, it was at the time. Like, we were just discussing how much excitement surrounding this game when it came out.
So much excitement.
Yeah, this was probably before they even realized there was tripping in the game. That was when they gave this rating. Right.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, there's all these new characters, all these new arenas. Wow, what do you call it? Not arenas.
Stages.
Stages.
Yeah.
There's online, even though you said it's not that great. I don't think I've ever even played online. No one really does anyway.
Right.
I mean, until Ultimate, sort of. We'll get to that. Whatever. It was a very exciting time when this came out. I understand the rating in its time. It doesn't hold up.
Lots of people had Brawl. Like, not even people who really liked it for competitive reasons.
Well, yeah, I guess the Wii sold so well.
Yeah, the Wii sold well. So Melee sold 7 million, just over 7 million. Brawl sold almost 14 million.
Wow. Well, yeah. Well, that's just because of how many more people had a Wii.
So there's people who let's just call it the gimmick of it, right? The concept of Smash Bros. You could be any character. You can give it to your 4-year-old cousin who loves Princess Peach, and they can run in circles Princess Peach. Like, anyone can get this game, and they don't have to care if there's tripping in it, right?
Right.
Or if it's a little bit laggy, like, they don't care. So in that sense, hit the nail on the head. It did its job. I think the Metascore critic might be a little high. Metacritic score. I said it backwards. Yeah.
Agreed.
But just fun numbers to share. All right, so we're what? We're halfway through. That was technically a 3.
I got the 3. We could go to the break.
All right, we'll hit a break
be right
real
back,
quick.
guys.
Hi there, I'm David.
And I'm Kate.
And we're the hosts of Another Zelda podcast.
There are so many good podcasts out there, and some of them in particular concern the Legend of Zelda.
That's right, Kate, and we are another one of them. That is actually the name of our show, Another Zelda podcast.
And in our show in particular, we talk about some of our favorite dungeons, characters, boss battles. We have top 10 lists.
Yeah, we do deep dives on game design and production aspects of the different Zelda games.
And we talk about our own experiences. We do some review episodes, talk about our challenges, our struggles, and our victories.
That's right. Really just almost anything that has to do with Zelda, we like to talk about it. A new episode comes out every other Friday, and you can subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and YouTube.
And you can also check out our episodes on our website, anotherzeldapodcast.com.
That's right. All right, we will see you there.
Okay, bye.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Mike.
And we are brothers-in-law. We both love beer and are amateur home brewers.
Wait, so does that make us brothers-in-law?
I believe so.
Every episode, we will talk about aspects of beer and home brewing.
But nothing super technical because we're learning this too.
So join us as we sit down together and dive into something beer-related.
Whether it's a little field research, tasting a certain beer style, or beers from a specific brewery,
talk about our experiences brewing beer at home, including our own solo brews, as well as themed competitions we'll set up along the way.
We will also talk about some of our favorite aspects of brewing, like hops, extra ingredients, building our brew cave, and more. And of course, our own misadventures that have happened along the way.
So, if you like beer, are home brewing already,
Or if you have an interest in home brewing and don't know where to start,
join us on Brothers-in-Law Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
and make sure to follow us on Twitter at Brothers-in-Law and check out our website, brothersinlaw.com.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What is up? We are back. Top 5 Smash Bros. Games. We just gave you our 5, 4, and I gave you my 3. Sam's about to give you his 3, although we are pretty much sharing the same picks and more or less the same comments. This might be a bit of a quicker episode, but we're having fun with it. Sam, you want to give us your number 3?
Hey, Jake, I would love to. So my brain is doing a swirly right now because we were kind of talking.
Your number 3?
No. I have my number 3 right in front of me. It's listed. It is a little bit of a swirly because Smash 4 at number 3.
Ooh.
Crazy how things work.
Wild.
So you had 4 as your 4.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And then So I did share a lot of my feelings about this. So I'm going to try not to repeat myself. I'll share a funny little story about my life. How it stands, this game in my life, is that it was mobile, right? So when that came out, I was a senior in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I really didn't. I had senioritis. I had high school senioritis, and I really didn't care about these classes.
Okay.
So what I did, I pulled up to school with my 3DS,
Mm-hmm.
and I just played this game literally all class. Just sat in the back.
Chadley.
Pretty Chadley of me. And you'd think I'd be good at this point, right?
Yeah, you've got to be.
I'm so average. It's a shame. I'm remembering the 2DS now. Did you ever have the 2DS?
I did not. I had the first DS and the DSi, and now I have the new 3DS. 2DS.
Strangely.
Oh wait, I have a 2DS now. I have the new 2DS.
You have the new 2DS. Okay, but it's not shaped like a wedge, right?
No, yeah, that one was ridiculous. Don't know whose idea was it.
I don't know whose idea it was either, but it might be like ergonomically my favorite of the.
You can carry it. It defeats the whole point.
No,
of
it
a
does
DS.
defeat the whole point. The whole point, but the weighting of it,
Yeah,
I think, is genius.
this is blowing my mind.
No,
I've never
honestly.
even seen it in person. I've honestly never seen someone who owns it.
Right. No. So mine broke.
Yeah.
I think it just like went out and stuff. I don't think I smashed it.
Okay.
I might have dropped it, but I'm gonna tell everyone
Smashed
that
it.
I know, right? I'm just gonna tell everyone that it broke on itself. Sorry, Nintendo.
Okay.
No, and it's perfect because it's a wedge and it fits right in your hands, and then so the weight just goes downwards, but it's
that's
like
nuts.
wedge shape, so
That's
it's perfect.
crazy, Sam.
It is crazy, but that's what I played. I feel like it came
Okay.
out around the same time, and I don't want to complain about it because then people will be like, "Well, why is this your number 3?" But I did think this is kind of just an issue with the console in itself, where so player 1 is holding this massive screen of a controller, right?
Yeah.
And then you have player 2 with the GameCube controller. And you have player 3 with the GameCube
What are you talking about here? The Wii U?
Now I'm going back to the Wii U.
Okay, I thought we were still on the 2DS.
All right.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
on balance.
And that kind of was like,
Now, did you have to do it like that?
that's a good question. I feel like player 1 has to have like the big screen because that's
Okay.
how you like
Perhaps.
start the game.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Maybe
true.
someone could debunk me on this.
But also, I mean, what's the chances, unless you're like a real gamer, that you're gonna have more than one GameCube controller lying around?
I know. Yeah.
Like I don't even have one, but I mean, I do want one, but I wouldn't buy 2.
Yeah. All right, let me say like a good thing to make it better. It was
do
refreshing.
that, do
No, it
that.
was refreshing after Brawl because I feel like they did go back into more of like a competitive sense
Okay.
and
Yeah.
and the internet, the multiplayer online, it was improved. I did use it, and I thought it was like the first time where I felt like, oh, this is like something I could actually do and enjoy. It's not like an experiment anymore. It's just like properly executed. And that's all I got to say. I mean, we really talked this one out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. That's a good point. It's a solid middle ground with like the accessibility and the competitive scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
It walked so that Ultimate could run. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah. I guess so, yeah.
It did. It had like the online a little bit, it had the mobile just a little bit. That's all I got on it. It's a good game. I'd play it again. I'd play it again if I didn't have Ultimate.
Fair enough.
What you got too?
2 Melee is my number 2. Right off the bat, you got the best controller to play Smash with, the GameCube controller. Does not get better than that. It just felt right. Like you have the sort of small C stick, the weird XY buttons that just made sense for jumping, things like that. I mean, we've discussed this in the other Smash episode or controller episode.
Best controller, right?
Yeah.
It was very intuitive, that controller.
It was, and I love the bumpers.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Okay. Larger roster coming from the 64. Obviously, we're expanding that. We got Marth, Bowser, Mewtwo. Pretty cool. Adventure mode. I know we said you kind of only like these games aren't known for anything that's not like the multiplayer modes, but like this adventure mode. Again, I've talked about this in previous episodes, but like I played this so much, going back and forth with my brother, just like seeing who could do it the fastest or whatever. Very fun game, at least as a kid. I don't know how well it would have held up. I haven't played it in a while, but it was a lot of fun. I'm sure it still would be today. Had more stages. It had finally we had some like Earthbound stages because we had Ness as an unlockable character on the 64, but he didn't have his own stage. I think he was the only one, or maybe there's one other one on the other character on the 64 that didn't have their own stage. Everyone else did. So finally, everyone had their own stage. I
mean, let's talk about the stage.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how
stage?
You want to pronounce it. If it's one net, or O-net, or on it.
I always said on it until I realized that like each like town is 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't realize that
side.
Yeah. I didn't realize that until like halfway through the game.
Well, okay. Once I got to the second city and it started with 2.
It took me too long.
But I agree. Like when I played Melee, I was like, oh, this is O-net. I don't know. Who cares that it says there's 1 in it? That's just words.
Yeah.
That was like such a great stage to play as a kid.
Exactly.
Because so the temple's awesome and the flying Pokemon in the clouds is like done well. One net, that's relatable.
Yeah.
You get hit, the car's coming to you.
Yep.
Oh, I know the fear of that. Get out of the way. Oh, I'm jumping from house to house.
Yeah.
Like this is it's so immersive because I'm so familiar with this kind of area, and it made it like so much fun to fight there.
And you could interact with it, right? There was like the overhangs over the store that you could like you could ground pound on, and they would fall over or whatever. Also, I mean, if you played Earthbound, it was very cool to see this like 3D version of. There's also what was the 3? Like there is another map in this game.
Fourside. Is it Fourside?
It was Fourside.
Fourside is.
It was like the city one. You're on like the city rooftops, like the buildings.
Is this a spaceship come?
There is the alien one.
I want to say that's Fourside.
Okay, could be. Anyway, very cool to see these in like a. I mean, it's not. It's kind of 3D in Earthbound. I don't know, like whatever. It's a very different way to perceive these two areas from Earthbound. So very cool to see it like that. Especially I'm saying on it. I just always said on it, but okay. So especially like the on it one, like you said, it was a great map. I keep saying maps.
Stage. I got you.
It's a great stage. And was very cool. if you played Earthbound, which I only like, if you've been listening to our episodes, I only played this. I only played the game like a month or two ago. But retrospectively, it was very cool to see.
Yes.
What else do I have to say? Oh, yeah. I mean, we kind of touched on this, but there's virtually like no buffer here in this game. Which, like, if you're not familiar with buffers, like if you put in an input, so you're like you click A and you're punching, and then you click A again. If you do it too rapidly while you're still like in the initial input, it won't count that second input. So there's like a 10 frame buffer in like Brawl, I'm pretty sure, where you could double tap that A and it'll still do the 2 punches, where it might not necessarily in Melee. So that plays into the competitive aspect of it, where you really need to know the timing and all the things like that. Not as much in later games. Good or bad thing, who's to say? Me personally, like I said, I'm not much into the competitive scene of Smash. I just enjoy playing with the buds. So I don't know if it makes too much of a difference. Also, it was like the first Smash Bros. Game I played, so I didn't really know anything different. So not having that buffer in Melee and then having it in later game, I don't know, like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It didn't make as much of a difference as if you went the other way around, where like they had the buffer and they got rid of it. So yeah, who's to say if it's good or bad? Certainly not me. Maybe people who started on the 64 or started on Brawl would have a heftier opinion on that. Yeah, besides that, I mean, I played this so much with my siblings.
Oh yeah.
It's a game that like you could just play over and over again and you don't get sick of it.
Yeah. I mean, especially like how you said, this is my number 2 pick, obviously.
Yeah.
Objectively, it has to be. So, like the story mode, some other episode we spent like 3 hours just talking about the story mode of it. So I'll try not to repeat myself too much about it, but it's so iconic because you play just a little bit of each game in like a very very honest way, though. Like it starts off with Mario, and you kind of play like a 2D Mario level, and then the Link one is a bit more. I mean, it's odd because it's like 2D platformer, but it's kind of like a dungeon crawler.
Yeah,
and it feels honest that way. Yeah. And then the Metroid one has that like countdown, like get out of the room as soon as possible, which is like just like how if you were to play a Metroid game.
Yeah.
And you didn't even have to have any familiarity with that. Like I definitely did not play any 2D Metroid game when I played that, but I was like, oh, I mean, anyone gets that the clock is running. Get out of this. It's fiery. It's explosive. We're on an alien planet.
Yeah. I just remembered something else I didn't say. The like table with all the trophies on it was so cool. Like being able to see all these like 3D figures of like each player as a trophy. I don't remember exactly. Do you get the trophy when you beat the campaign? Do you remember?
I think so.
Okay, I think that is how it is. So I'm pretty sure like that's kind of what we did, because I do remember playing the story mode a lot. I think we probably just tried unlocking all of the trophies, which I don't know if we actually did, but I do remember like they kind of all collected on like this like a 3D rendering of a table that looked very cool.
That was kind of the fun part about the story mode is like, you play it with your buddy and it's like, oh yeah, of course you could beat that on hard with Fox. Fox is so good. Like, why don't you play it with someone you're bad at? And then you had to go play it and it was like way harder and you don't know how to jump around with that character. And
Home Run Derby introduced.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was so much fun. That was so much fun because when you're a kid, like, you just love, beating up sandbags.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what? Thinking about this, like, again, when I was writing my notes, I like drew this wild connection between like the stasis aspect and Breath of the Wild. It's pretty much the same concept, right? Where you're hitting this bag as many times as you can within like 10 seconds or whatever, and then a final hit to launch it. Right. Which is exactly the stasis concept in Breath of the Wild. Pretty cool. I don't know if they were thinking about that when they made it, but like Nintendo does that a lot, where they have these really great ideas early on that they don't know what to do with, and then it comes back 10 years later, and certainly did in this case, if that was the case. That's
funny. That is really interesting. And the home run derby, I forget what it's called. it was really iconic, but it was such a small part of that game.
Yeah.
And it was completely uncompetitive, and it wasn't much of like a multiplayer type of thing.
Yeah.
But it was I mean, that is what you do with stasis. That's cool. I also am thinking about like they had they're kind of like missions. I forget what word was used to describe it. It was like the mini games, but basically it'd be
when you collect the like 10 whatevers or something.
It would be something like gotta catch them all, and then you have to defeat all the Pokemon, and then you knock out Pikachu.
Wait, was there like I remember something where there is just a lot of very small characters. Was this a thing?
No. Are you thinking of like there's like a million Yoshis and you have to beat them all?
Or was that part of the story mode or something?
I think that was part of the story mode, but they did have things like that. I really wish I don't think they would call them mini games.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And I don't think they're called missions either. Okay, but that was really cool because you got to like reenact something you would see in like a game. Okay. Like you had to beat like Fox and Falco, and they're both like really good.
Yeah.
It was like impossible to win.
Maybe I vaguely remember this, but I just remember there was also that like time trials thing where like you had to collect like 10 like coins or whatever.
Oh yeah.
In each stage within like a minute or probably less time than that or something.
Yeah, they just like nailed it on all those like small parts of it.
Yeah,
you didn't just have the multiplayer. You had all these other things you could do. And also I said this is my second, right? Okay, so we're just gonna keep talking about this. This is my second straight game.
Yeah.
Of course it is. The speed of the gameplay also really worked for, of course, people who like competitive, fast-paced games where you can take it as fast as you need to. And also for just like kids that don't have a lot of patience. Like I feel like when I was younger, I love Street Fighter, but Street Fighter was like kind of a slower game, honestly. I mean, it wasn't as flashy. You only have a couple of moves. You have to study to know the combos.
Right.
But you could be Fox and run, over their heads and around and use your side B and dash across the whole, stage. And that kind of gameplay, it just made it faster paced, more enjoyable, and keeps you on your toes more. You didn't have to play fast. I mean, you can just be Kirby and fly above your buddy and down B and turn to a rock.
Right.
Or you could be Fox and side B everywhere.
Yeah, that's a good point. Where another differentiating factor of this franchise, where you don't have to study all these combos to be good. You could kind of just play until you're good. Yeah,
it's perfect, the amount of moves they give you.
Yeah,
because they're a little Easter eggy. They like, tech your brain. You remember doing that in the game,
right? And
they're self-explanatory in that way because it's like Mario shoots fireball. Fireball hurts the other person,
right?
And there's only so many moves you have, but it's just enough. You have your directional A's, directional B's, moves in the air. You play a game like Tekken, and I love Tekken. I've played a lot of Tekken.
Yeah.
You open up, the move list for Tekken. It is at least 100 different animated moves.
You have to just pick which ones you're going to remember.
You learn 10 that you're good at. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But no, you're right. All right. I mean, I don't know if I have anything else about Melee, but
great game.
Yeah. Number one,
huge mystery. What could you have possibly picked?
The Ultimate Smash Bros. Game. Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yes.
Name speaks for itself. It really is. It has everything, all the characters. Wow, what's it called?
Stages. You got it, Jake. Doing a great job.
Choking. Stages. All the characters, all the stages, all the everything. They got rid of trophies. I love the trophies. A little upset they got rid of trophies, but they added these like spirits. It's whatever.
Same idea.
Yeah, same idea. Not really. I don't not as cool for me or like whatever, but it doesn't really matter because you're only playing for the multiplayer.
Yeah. And they know that at this point, right?
They do know it. This is much better for competitive play. Still, I think Melee is still mostly the go-to, but Ultimate really did realize what they did wrong with Brawl, which was I mean, we just said was fixed also a little bit on Smash Bros. 4, but like Ultimate really brings it back. This feels like as close to Melee as we've gotten since Melee. It had 3, I think, years of DLC after the initial release. That's
Yeah, it sounds about
pretty insane. They kept like excitement and wonder around this game for a full 3 years.
Well, it's because the game itself was so good. They knew that they had a market of people who were willing to keep buying more characters.
Yeah, I personally did not buy DLC.
I do have them all.
There's none of these like characters that really convinced me, unfortunately. But I think that's mostly because there's already so many good characters where it's like, do I need these extra 12 or so? How many? I don't know.
I mean, they had a lot of really obvious good picks.
Yeah.
Like Steve from Minecraft.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be the Minecraft character.
Yeah. Who was the last one?
Was it Zora?
Zora, yes.
Yeah,
another cool one. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't convince me. I mean, maybe I'll buy it eventually, but whatever. Yeah, besides that, you know what? I wrote as a note here, every fighter has their own stage. So I wonder if that really was true for Melee, because I said that for Melee.
Huh.
But, I mean, I can't think of a character that didn't have a stage in Melee. But I don't know.
I think that they did have their own stages, all of them.
Yeah, maybe I just reiterated the point because there's so many characters in this one.
Right.
Actually, that can't be even true. Like Sora doesn't have their own stage.
Well, there's new stages that get released with the DLC.
Okay, I take that back.
So, I mean, but if you were to quiz me like Banjo-Kazooie, what's his stage?
Yeah.
I don't know if I would be able to think of it.
Right.
But I want to say that that's still true for the DLC. I'm trying to think of, for Melee, and like, you know, when it says like Challenger approaching, you fight them on a new stage.
Right, exactly.
So, and that's like their stage.
Yeah.
Is what I want to say. But it's still impressive where you have that many characters and then that many unique stages to go with it.
Yeah, definitely. And then also there's like so many music options for each stage and each character here as well, which is another like very cool thing that a lot of people get into.
Absolutely. OneNet, what I do is I always have to play. I think it's like the shop thing. The shop theme is like the dun 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 dun. And they have like a really cool version of it that I have to do when I do that stage.
Okay. Yeah. They also improved online multiplayer tremendously. Wait, did I say this already?
I don't think so, but it is. It's very usable at this point.
Yeah, I was actually just playing before you came this morning. I haven't played Smash Bros in a while. Yeah, I was a bit rusty.
Okay.
I ended up winning like the second toss. I did like 6 or 7. I do the tournament where it's like you have to win the first one and then you play the winner of the other leg. So yeah, I won one of them. I was pretty rusty. King K. Rool main. Yeah, they're fun because you want to keep, or at least me personally, I want to keep playing until I win one of them, being a tournament style, you know?
Yeah.
So it really hooks me, which I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
Well, you're like a Fortnite player, so it's that same idea. You got exposed. I'm gonna say it. There is that. It's that kind of mindset where you know you're okay with maybe even getting dead last because there's always the next one.
Exactly.
And the next one could be the big reward, and if you hit it, you know, you get first place. That's what you did it for.
Yeah. I don't know if I would make a comparison.
All right, that's kind of how I see it. I don't know if I would, you know, just casually do that, like play a tournament with a couple of strangers, just because I am far too impatient. Like my play style is like, I'm Pikachu. Like I'm running as fast as I can all over the stage, and I try to kill them, and then sometimes I die, and then that's the next life.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of patience, I do want to point out here it's kind of annoying to play online, especially the tournament style, because it's like it takes like a minute to find the 7 other people to play, and then it takes like a minute to load the game, and then it takes like a minute after the game to get back to the menu, and then load the next minute and whatever. Like it's a lot of waiting. I feel like you're kind of playing like the same amount of time as you're waiting, which is always annoying. That's like, I mean, I started Witcher 3 again, same situation. It's hard to get back into. I guess when you die, like these load times are ridiculous.
You gotta have a TV show playing in the corner.
Yeah, literally, you're like waiting as much as you're playing.
Yeah,
never a good thing. Yeah, but obviously, like Smash Bros. Isn't really made for online.
Right.
I mean, Nintendo in general, unfortunately. Maybe we'll get there eventually, but
it's such a game that works like a party game. Honestly, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Not every crowd wants to play 1v1 Tekken, right?
Yeah.
At a party.
Right.
But you can bust out the 8-player Smash Bros.
Absolutely.
Any hour of the day.
Yeah.
Have a full house
Plenty
playing
of
this.
times we've done that.
Absolutely. And it works.
Yeah, that's another thing. People, when we like hang out with friends and we pull out Smash, people who like will be like, oh, I don't know, I've never played before, I don't want to get in the way. We'll be like, no, just take the controller.
It's like, here.
And they do decent.
Yeah,
like,
be Kirby. You swallow me.
Yes,
it's funny.
exactly.
You know, it works. Be Jigglypuff.
Yeah, and everyone's having a good time regardless.
Yeah. It's a very intuitive game, which is what it's meant to be, and it's entertaining, right? The animation is entertaining. And it has its funny moments. It's just a charming game. You're Luigi, you do a flying headbutt. It's amazing.
Yeah. And also this game, they did a complete overhaul of the lighting mechanics, which I honestly did not know until I read into this.
I know that either.
It when you do know it, it is hard to not notice it because it looks very impressive.
Wow.
Especially if you're comparing to like Brawl.
Okay.
They like made it so like each like part of each character's body has its own like individual shadow. It just looks very good. Look into it. Another just thing where they really like mastered what Smash is with this game. And I don't know if there's anywhere to go from here. Of course, they said there isn't, that there won't be another game, but they've said that before. I don't know if it's really true. We'll see, but I wouldn't be surprised if the next console, whether it's like a Switch Plus or a whole new console, is just a port of Ultimate with like maybe a couple things added. There's not really much to add even.
I'd probably be okay with just an Ultimate port.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, everyone would love another Melee with like a fun story that you can do. That's not like a true narrative. Like I don't want to know about it like a real bad guy. I forget what game did that. I think it was like Brawl or something. You have to like save the other toys. It might have been Smash 4.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
One of those games you have to like save toys and there's like an overarching villain. I don't need that.
Right.
If they were to port Ultimate, it might be fun to have like bonus adventure, and it's.
Well, they do have a very expansive single player. Like, I'm not talking about this much because I haven't played it a lot, but I know like it exists in Ultimate, like the biggest single player mode they've had.
Okay.
I might get into it because I am in a bit of a lull with video games. Not really a whole lot of new stuff I'm playing at the moment. So I might get into that, but it's not really what people buy or play the game for. So I don't know.
Well, I got a big surprise for you. My number one pick was in fact Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Was it?
I know.
Was it?
I know. For obvious reasons. I mean, when they made the announcement that this was going to have every fighter that's ever been announced, it was like unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know,
crazy.
Like truly not sure if I'm going to believe this until I see this or it's in my hands. And to have all the stages, you know, organized like so. It was crazy. It was set up to be the best Smash Bros. And all they had to do was just have the mechanics work well, like the execution, just pull it off. And they had a great console to do it on. Cannot believe that we didn't talk about this yet. But it's on the Switch.
Yeah, no, totally correct.
So it's nice. So it's super easy, first of all, to just have everyone have a mini controller.
Yeah.
Right? You know, just pass them along. They're very intuitive, not intimidating controllers at all. It's like, 4 buttons and a stick. Anyone can play it, especially non-gamers. It's great.
Right.
And additionally, the mobile works perfectly, in my opinion. Which is what I really liked about the 3DS, is that I could just play it anywhere.
Right.
And I mean, that's what I was looking forward to probably the most.
Yeah.
Knowing that it was on the Switch. And I think a lot of other people like that too. Now, and the DLC, I loved it. I know that
You're
Smash
all
4,
about it.
I'm all about it. I know that Smash 4 also had DLC and had some pretty big releases. I remember when Bayonetta dropped, and Bayonetta was crazy in Smash 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she had that those smash attacks where the like dimensional fists come out.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like, oh, so Nintendo can just give us characters that are like super powerful after the game came out, and then Ultimate knocked that out of the park, giving us all kinds of crazy characters. I did play Zora. Really smart, solid character.
Right.
I don't know if I got lucky, but I was like, wow, they're ending this on a bang. Like, this character's
I
insane.
mean, I've never played Zora, but I've played against Zora online. I've read about the character when it came out. From what I gather, it's a very good character.
It is.
And you're totally correct about being on such an amazing console that is the Switch. I've literally, like, over the summer, I was on a flight with a friend, pretty long flight. We literally, like, put my Switch on the, food tray.
Yep.
Each one had a controller. My friend doesn't even own a Switch, and we're able to just play Smash Bros. On a plane.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge point as well, because so you can play it on the 3DS. That's gonna be single player. Sure, you can play it on the plane, but to do a multiplayer Smash on the plane,
yeah, exactly.
I'm glad. I'm glad we're at this point.
We
deserve to be
2022.
I know.
Come on now.
So my biggest fear about finding the official top 5 is that it's really gonna be, is it Jake's or is it mine?
Yeah.
Right, because there's only one difference.
Yep.
And mine is the right one, yours is the wrong one. So where do we go from here?
Well, Sam, since you're my wonderful guest as I'm hosting today's episode, I'll be a nice guy and give it to you.
He'll be a nice guy.
I'll be a kind gentleman and give you the official top 5 list, which is going. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Which is going to be number 5, Super Smash Bros. All caps 64. Number 4 is going to be Brawl on the Wii. Number 3, Smash Bros. 4 on the Wii U / 3DS. Number 2, Melee on the GameCube. And number 1, Ultimate on the Switch.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good. Awesome. Well, we actually ended up 55 minutes. I was going to say this was a short one, but it's
a healthy one.
It's a healthy one. We had a good episode. This was fun. I think we have 2 left of the season. If this is releasing in the order that we recorded in, thank you for sticking by us so far this season. It's been really awesome. If you want to keep up with us on the social medias, it's at Top 5 Nintendo with the number 5 not spelled out, at Top 5 Nintendo. If you want to shoot us an email, just to chat or like give suggestions or anything, at Top 5 Nintendo. I always do that. Top 5 Nintendo Pod. No, at Top 5 Nintendo Pod at gmail.com. The number 5. If you want to just hit me up or whatever, my Instagram is just my name, Jake Naroden, Naroden. On the Instagram. Sam, where can we find you?
And on Instagram, I'm going to be Sam__Ansa.
Nice. Yeah. Thanks, guys. This was a good one. We will catch you next time.
Peace out.
Bye.